All right, welcome back to part 4 of Sean and Kyle discussing movies and things. We finally made it to Eternals. We're here, baby. We are here.
Woo! Big spoiler warnings coming up, though.
Yes.
Don't forget, spoilers galore coming at you.
Spoilers galore. If you want to know what we think, fast forward to the end, or just see the movie and wait, or check it out and hear what we have to think, or check out other episodes. But Eternals, so a little breakdown. I know nothing about Eternals. I know it's those comics that were made back in the day. I don't know exactly when Eternals was made. I think maybe it was like 70s, 60s, I don't know. But I know it came out, and I was kind of floored when I initially saw it. I don't know about you, Kyle.
For just seeing the movie, first,
did you ever hear about it at all?
I knew nothing about Eternals. Honestly, nothing.
Same.
I saw a trailer and I go, Eternals, what's this? That's at Marvel Studios. I'm like, oh, it's a Marvel movie?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even see the trailer. I just had, I think, what was it? You hit me up a couple of weeks ago, and you were like, hey, let's go see this movie. And I was like, okay. And then one of my buddies hit me up, was like, hey, let's go see it. And I was like, sure. But I knew nothing about Eternals. All I know is it's from comics from back in the day. Because now with Marvel on to Phase 4, they're kind of done. They're focusing mainly on Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and other things. So this is one of those movies. So I'll give a brief synopsis, or maybe it's phase. Yeah. Synopsis of Eternals movie. Sorry, I'm typing this in. Synopsis. All right. Eternals, a race of immortal beings with superhuman powers who have secretly lived on Earth for thousands of years, reunite to battle the evil deviants. Okay. Pretty simple synopsis, right?
Very, very easy.
Movie was directed and screenplay written by Chloé Zhao.
Yep.
She's Chinese.
I think she did. Did she do Shang-Chi as well? I think she did.
I'm looking her up right now.
I think she did Shang-Chi also.
She did Songs My Brothers Taught Me, The Rider, and then Nomaland. And Eternal. So she's only done 4 films.
Oh, really?
But they all look pretty darn good. I know she's gotten a couple awards for things like independent stuff, but she's never... Oh, wait. She got 4 Academy Award nominations for No Man Land. That's right. Because that one was a big one. So, big name coming off of success of award season. This film has a couple different interesting... So this film, I don't know anyone that was in it. It's Gemma Chan as Circe, Richard Madden as Icarus. They got Kumail Ninblada as Keoghan, Lisa McHugh as Sprite, Brian Trey Henry as Fastos, Lauren Ridloff as Makari. Whoever the hell these people are.
Richard Madden as Icarus. The only 2 that I know of is Angelina Jolie as Athena.
Angelina Jolie.
And then I didn't know this. I just saw here. Apparently, Harry Styles from One Direction played Star Fox.
Oh.
In the end, yeah.
Oh, and then they have Salma Hayek. Yeah, she's so beautiful.
Oh, the one who plays Ajax?
Yeah, she's so hot. Her and Angelina Jolie. Actually, all the females, I felt, excited for, the child Sprite. But I felt like most of the women in this movie was actually pretty good looking. I was like, oh my God. And then Deviant Crow was voiced by Bill Skarsgård, if that means anything. Yeah. And Patton Oswalt appeared as Pip the Troll. Because I figured that one out. I was like, oh yeah.
Okay.
But, so yeah, this was kind of the film. It was just about these spoilers. Basically, it turns out they're robots, and they come to defend the world from these deviants. The world was created by this monster, or what was the...
So essentially, the worlds get created to the life, whatever is on that world, like for Earth, for example, Earth is created, and its sole purpose is for humankind to evolve and grow and repopulate to a certain amount of people, a certain population. I don't remember if they said, but like we'll just say it's 7 billion. And then once they hit a certain amount of potential and they're intelligent enough and have enough people, then a celestial that is not an eternal, like a full-on celestial that is like bigger than planets, can be born. But for them to be born, they essentially get born from the core of the Earth or whatever planet they have, and the planet explodes and everyone and everything on it dies. But then this massive celestial god essentially will be born from the ashes of the planet.
And it continues on.
Yep, and it just continues, and it's been going for millions of years.
Creating life,
and the Eternals are essentially the henchmen of these gods that are there to protect the Earth from the Deviants, who are essentially chaos.
Because the Deviants were initially created by the Celestials as predators, right?
To
kill off.
They were apex predators.
They were apex predators, but then they evolved. And because they evolved, they had to make robots, the Eternals, to beat the Deviants. So, which was kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
So the film in and of itself was really interesting. I saw it the first time, fell asleep through all the main exposition because I was so tired. And then this time I watched it all the way through. And I actually really liked the film. I thought that story concept was really curious. The idea of celestials, the idea of these planets being created, the celestials messing up, and with the evolution of the Deviants needing to create the Eternals, which are basically robots, and then they just their brain gets wiped.
They recycle them.
They recycle them after the planets blow. So that was a really cool concept. And then the whole point is this, like you may have said, the Eternals don't want to die. They don't want to lose their memories. They don't want the planet to explode. They want to keep it because a lot of them fall in love with humans. They one becomes a movie star. They don't want to lose that. And then the war is because Icarus, he believes they should follow the Celestials and continue the process. Ajax didn't, so Icarus kills Ajax because she communicates with the head celestial, the red guy. I can't remember his name, Artemis or.
I'll look it up. You can keep going.
But she communicates with him, and then she tells Icarus, but then she changed her mind because she loves humanity, and so all of the guys pretty much love humanity and want to stay there, except for Sprite, because she's a kid and she wants to learn how to grow up and fall in love and have children, but she can't because she's stuck as a child, can't age. The movie star Bollywood guy, he doesn't care. He believes they should follow their programming because it's their purpose in life. And then so does Icarus. So there's this divide. And then they basically battle, and it's kind of like a mystery. Them trying to figure out why the planet's having earthquake. What are these deviants? Because they thought they destroyed all the deviants 500 years ago, but then they came back. So to me, that was a really interesting story about free will, going against the man. And Kyle, it kind of makes me wonder, if you were an Eternal, what would you do? Would you follow through with the plan, or would you want to stay and kind of find a way to not kill the Celestial, but stop it from happening?
Stop the Celestial from being born.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did look up. So the Eternal Celestial is Arshem the Judge.
Arshem the Judge. That's right.
That's his name. And he is essentially, he's the prime Celestial, looms large in the Eternals as the movie's primary antagonist, or at least being to whom the main cast is subject to.
Mm-hmm.
So he is essentially the overall ruler because they're pawns for him, essentially. None of them can beat him.
He's huge. He's giant.
He's literally multi-planet size.
He's as big as a galaxy.
Yeah.
He's
His
huge.
face alone was as big as Earth.
Yeah.
So, but
giant.
If I was in the Celestials position, I mean that's a tough one because
the
some
Eternals,
of them or the Eternals, because you gotta think some of them fell in love with each other. Well,
yeah.
Now you think because their minds are wiped. How many times have they fallen in love with each other and fallen out of love? How many?
Because
you don't know. Because they even say in the movie, some of them are like, well, this is my first mission. And they're like, no, you've been doing this for millions of years, essentially. And that takes a toll on them. But
Angelina Jolie.
Yep. If I had to pick a side, I would essentially pick the side of the actor from Bollywood. I can't remember which one he is. His actual name in the movie. Which guy was that? That was.
He was Kingo.
Yes,
Kumail.
Kingo.
Yeah.
Kingo. I would side with him. Kingo is the one who he knows that, what's going to happen if they don't follow along, and he essentially doesn't want to incur the wrath and potentially end up being killed forever. Mm-hmm. If his choice is either potentially dying forever and never coming back, or having your mind wiped but getting just a reset button, he chose the reset button, and I would probably side with that. Well, because if there's no chance to beat the higher power, you're going up against an unstoppable force, but you're not an immovable object. You're an object they could just push their finger on and kill you.
Yeah.
So because they may have infinite power, never age, but what is that infinite power versus that infinite power? There's different scales, obviously. So that's why I was like, I mean,
yeah,
and these are people. Yes, you've been there for 7,000, 8,000 years, but it's like, you kind of have to choose, and make a selfish decision. Would you rather live, or would you rather risk the life, even though there was like almost pretty much 100% chance that everyone will still die?
Well, that's the crazy, because you can never have a relationship.
Yeah.
Well, there is one guy, and they actually, Marvel has its first gay main character.
Yeah, for males.
For males, yeah. The, let's see.
It was Fastos.
Yeah. And he's gay, and he's able to, make, things with the power. Like, he can make guns and things with his hand, like rings and stuff. He's really intelligent. He was kind of like, for the humans, he would create inventions like guns or whatever.
He would also show like the Eternals before he would introduce to the humans, like stuff to show them. Like, he makes a steam powered engine, and Ajax and them say they're not ready for that, so then he changes it to a plow.
It was like 5 BC, and I kind of actually really enjoyed this film. Those elements of where they would go back in time, because they would jump from like 500 BC, 400 to Babylon, present day, and they would show like how the Eternals kind of helped humans grow, because the whole point was, once humans reached a certain peak of intelligence, we would like destroy ourselves anyways, and that was enough intelligence, and global warming and such, to cause the Celestial to explode out of the planet. So it's really kind of interesting stuff. As a Eternal, I don't know what I would do, because I think personally, you're never going to die, so you can't have.
Well, you can die.
Well, you can, but you're never going to be able to have a relationship with someone. Everyone that you fall in love with is going to die unless you fall in love with an Eternal.
Which has happened, Icarus, but then they all fall out of love too.
They did, because he flew away.
Yep.
Because when Icarus and Circe, they were like power couple, 5,000 years. But then Icarus, once he finds out from Ajax that the whole thing is like rigged,
it's all a lie, and they're all robots, and their memories are going to get wiped unless they do what the Prime Celestial Arsine says.
He just disappears for like a couple thousand years, and so then Circe finds someone new, she lives her life, and then they come back. Causes drama.
Yeah.
Which I think the weaker parts of the film was like their love. I also kind of got annoying when they were like, centuries, I've wanted to do this for centuries. They kept referencing like in movies, some people are like, I've always wanted to do this for years. These guys, centuries.
Or like how the young girl, I can't remember her name, Sprite. Sprite was like, oh, I've always just wanted to be a normal human and live a normal human life, and always just kind of like reference that and stuff. It's just like,
she was
like,
very bitter.
We get it.
Sprite was very bitter.
Yeah, the whole time. And she also, I will say I did appreciate how they compared Sprite and Icarus to Peter Pan and Tink.
Yeah,
I did appreciate that, because it actually was very good. It was very clever. I didn't see that one. How Tink has always been in love with Peter Pan but can never be with him.
Yep.
Sprite has always been in love with Icarus, but she is so young, because she's meant to be like a 14-year-old. She can never be with Icarus, who is like a prime male. He's like, in his upper 20s or something like that. And also Icarus is stated to be the strongest of the Eternals on multiple occasions, and he's also compared to Superman.
Yeah, because They all have interesting powers. Like Icarus can fly, he shoots lasers.
He has lasers from his eyes. He has super strength. You know, Ajax power is pretty much healing, is what it seems like. Sprite's powers is kind of like Loki. She has like illusions and deception. Circe can essentially, she says in the movie, she can essentially change any non-living thing to whatever she wants, which her powers then flourish and for some reason work on living
like
things.
She turns a bus that's about to like hit them into like rose petals.
Yeah, and then the driver pops out of the pile and he's fine. So it doesn't affect humans, which it was shown. But then later in the movie, that's the only thing that I had a question about was like, why in that second fight did it work on a deviant when it didn't work before? And she was able to kill the deviant and turn him into a tree.
I think that's because she had the powers of Ajax with her as well. Because they asked her and she was like, oh, I don't know.
Well, she got the orb, yeah.
She got Ajax orb, so then she was like, oh, I don't know. This is new to me, too. Because she turned,
So, I mean, that wasn't really explained that well, so that's why I was kind of like, you kind of left it open-ended.
There's like one girl that was like the Flash, super speed.
Yeah, there was, Makari was pretty much the Flash. Kingo essentially could shoot energy beams from his hands. He was kind of like Goku, with like ki blast, but he like shot it like guns. And then there was a couple points where he can like charge it up, and like the longer he charges, the stronger it is. There was Gilgamesh, who essentially has super strength. Druig, who has mind control, and then Athena, who could essentially, she's just like a Wonder Woman-esque. She just kind of has like the ability to manifest like spears, swords, shields, daggers.
The greatest warrior.
Yep, pretty much.
She is so hot still.
Oh,
Angelina Jolie still. And
it's still killing it.
Still killing it. I mean, I feel like all the women were beautiful in this.
Oh, they did a great job in this.
They were just great, and the cast were so diverse.
I did enjoy the cast, even though like the actors themselves I did like, but the characters in the movies was where I started to have a problem. So Sean really more or less enjoyed the movie. Sure. I thought it was okay. Like the two characters that were definitely the best for me was Icarus and Athena. Because Icarus gets fleshed out a lot. Like he's the one who is like the one that everyone says should be the leader of the Eternals. He is like the Superman-esque. I don't know. He's just the strongest. He has the most development for sure out of every character. And I enjoyed his character arc because, you know, the whole movie, you think he's like with the Eternals and he's for them and he's like, yeah, let's do this. But then you get that dramatic twist in the last like 30 minutes where he actually is trying to kill the Eternals and wants Tiamat, which is the new Celestial, to be born from the earth. So he actually fights the Eternals, and he's the one who killed Ajax. He's the one who helped the Deviants. So then it all like turns on its head, and I really enjoyed that. And then you get Athena.
Conflict.
Yeah, Athena, I think. Was Athena your favorite character?
I really like Athena because she held on to her memories from past worlds, and she wasn't supposed to.
Yep.
But it was a flaw in her design, so she was actually going crazy. I forget the word that they use, but she... because like all the other Eternals, they had their memory wiped. Her brain was like starting to get backed up, so she would like get under mind control and would start attacking the Eternals randomly. And she needed Gilgamesh. He, instead of killing her, he's her protector. So he did like kind of do a Hulk move where he would be like, the sun's coming down, to like calm her down. Whenever she would like start going crazy and lose her mind, he would always like calm her down, and in the end, she ended up taking part in what would be Gilgamesh's death.
Yep, because she was so calm, and she was calmed by him, but then she started to lose herself. So in Gilgamesh, when he's fighting the main deviant, the most powerful one, he couldn't fight him because he had to try to stop Athena from losing it and attacking him and the other Eternals. So he ends up dying because of Athena, and then Athena snaps out of it right as Gilgamesh dies.
Yep.
And then Icarus comes in and saves the day before Athena gets killed, but Gilgamesh dies and his power gets absorbed by the all-powerful deviant, like the main one, who is the same one that when Icarus killed Ajax, absorbed Ajax's power of healing, and then passed it on to the other deviants. So it's just like, it all came full circle, which I liked, but there was just stuff that was like, this is really cool, but then it gets ruined. Like, to me, I really love that. But like I told you yesterday after we got the movie, just the whole Gilgamesh thing to Athena, I was just like, come on.
Sun's
I'm like,
going
we
down,
already
yeah.
had this with Hulk and Black Widow for 3 movies or
Yep.
2 movies. I'm like, come on. Like the whole, hey, big guy, sun's getting real low. Let's touch hands. Let me just gently graze your hand and you snap out of it. Like, what? That's stupid. And then they're just like, he's just like, give me your hand. And they just touch palms.
Yeah.
And then he just stares into her eyes and she just, and then comes back and I'm just like, God.
Because he loves her.
But Gilgamesh was a good character, though.
was a good character.
I did enjoy Gilgamesh for the little bit we had him. He was funny. He was your big, bulky guy, but he wasn't the dumb, strong guy. He was smart and a strong guy, which is why I liked him.
Who was the funniest?
Oh, man, that's tough.
The Middle Eastern
That really
guy?
is tough because, I don't know, because Kingo was so funny.
So freaking funny.
And so was Festos. They were hilarious, but I don't know, man. It's between Kingo and the movie producer.
Yeah,
Because Kingo in the movie, the
he-
first time you see him, he's making a movie called Eternals or Icarus Rising or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And he plays Icarus.
Yeah.
So when Icarus and Cersei and Sprite go to see him, he's making a movie, and then his director is this Indian guy that's a little bigger, and he is so funny. Like he gets introduced like halfway through the movie, and he's in there almost the rest of the movie, and he is hysterical. Like him and Kingo are the comic relief.
They are.
The whole movie.
Yes.
And they do a great job. I cannot be mad. They are like the equivalent of Thor and Jeff Goldblum in Ragnarok. Like
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoyed them. I have nothing bad to say about those two because they did well. And like I
the
enjoyed
documentary.
and like I enjoyed Kingo because he looked up to Icarus the whole time. And then you get to the ending when they're all deciding. And that is why Kingo is tied for my favorite character with Icarus, because he just says, I'm not going to fight Icarus. He's too strong. Even if all of us gang up against him, we will lose. So I'm just going to let my memory get erased and be done with it. And he leaves. And you don't see him again till the end of the movie. And I loved it. His arc wraps up and it was beautiful. Like, no problems with Kingo.
Well, yeah, because like he tells him, he's like, I admire you for what you guys believe in, but I think we should follow our programming.
Because and Icarus
I
is
don't,
like his best
I
friend.
don't want to go against Icarus. I don't think that we could beat him, and I don't want to go against the Celestials. So I hope to see you next planet. But I'm not going to fight you guys.
Yep.
Like Icarus is going to battle you because I love you guys, and you guys are my friends. So I'm going to object. And I thought that was really good because you never see that in movies.
Yep.
It's always good versus bad. In this film, it was really gray. And I really like that idea.
There was no
that-
good or bad guy.
No.
That's why I like the synopsis for
No.
our time even
Yeah.
says he is supposedly the antagonist, but it's not totally said that he is. And you're supposed to think the Eternals are the protagonists, but then they even say in the movie, they're not actually the good guys. They're helping the
humans.
bad guys, but the bad guys aren't also the Celestials because the Celestials created everything.
Yeah.
So it's like are the gods who literally are there to create life, are they the bad guys because they're creating more life? Like Kingo and them say in the movie. It's like, who's the bad guy, who's the good guy?
There
wasn't
isn't.
any.
There
The
really
bad guy
isn't.
was the deviants. But then we get to my biggest gripe of the movie, which I
Okay.
said to Sean yesterday. I said, the deviants didn't really need to be in this movie. The deviants were solely there for a bad guy, in quotes, for something to look at, and someone for the good guy, or the good guys, in quotes, the Eternals, to fight. Because when you first see the deviants, they eat a random guy back in ancient Macedonia, I think it was, which is probably my red shirt for the movie too.
The father.
That random dad. Yeah, you just start off and you get to Macedonia, you see a son
Run,
cutting
son.
open a fish that his dad's catching. You see his dad just on the beach stabbing fish and putting them into the net, obviously getting food for the village. Then all of a sudden you just see the villagers up on top of the hill saying like, run, it's coming. And then the dad just sees it, knows he's going to die, looks at his son, he just says, run, son. And the dad just gets eaten.
Yep.
Right there. Like,
But then, right for insult to injury, 2 seconds later, Icarus shoots the guy with the laser.
Yep.
So it's like, man, you couldn't be there 5 seconds before.
look, he's not Superman, all right? He's like
Because
Superman.
the movie's got to do that. They got to show how mean the villain is by killing someone.
One
or
random
something.
person. So that's probably,
poor
I
kid.
would say that's probably my red shirt.
Mine too.
Because, he just, I mean, who was he? He was just a random throwaway, but it's like, he didn't
Yeah.
need to die. But, outside of that, that is how you're showing the deviants are bad. Then them attacking, Babylon when they have the Great Wall, which was really cool. I did admire all the throwbacks, the
Me
old,
too.
The back in time ones, I like them all.
Tenochtitlan and all that, the battle.
Like,
yeah.
I enjoyed that. But
Yeah.
the deviants didn't need to be there. As the movie went on, the deviants had no place. Like, they were just there. And, like, the one that absorbed Ajak and then Gilgamesh's power, you're like, oh, so that's going to be the final villain. But then they do him dirty. Then he gets killed in the stupidest way. I'm sorry. Like,
By Athena, yeah.
like, I know we talked about it. You liked the scene of the end battle where Icarus is standing off and then the deviant comes down. You enjoyed that, right?
I did.
Yeah. How would you... So my question for you is, if you could have changed that whole scene, would you have, and what would you have done? Instead of having the deviant be killed off by Athena in that 1v1 and Icarus get captured, would you have changed it?
Yeah, I mean, I wish that Icarus... So, with the deviant just being murdered by Athena, because they throw him in a cave and then he pretends to speak to Athena's, crazy self by being Gilgamesh. And then he, wraps her up in his vines and he's sucking her power, but then she, was playing him and then slices him up into pieces and kills him. I wish the Deviants would have actually joined the Eternals, that one at least, in their fight against the Celestials. Because to me, it felt like the Deviants just wanted to be taken care of. Because that guy especially, he was like, this is garbage. Like, our whole purpose is just to be hunted by you. And that's not fair. And he was mad that was his purpose. He was actually mad at the Celestials. And he wanted to, stop that. And he actually, but... I feel like they didn't know what to do with him because they're like, oh, deviants are bad, so we just got to kill him. And it would have been better for the deviant to join up with them in battling Icarus and then killing Icarus.
Or would you have rather had him join Icarus
join Icarus
because he is there to be an apex predator and essentially to wipe out all life. So that way the intelligent life their purpose is still kind of like the Eternals.
He ended up fighting Icarus.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Because he was like, they're like, wait, but why are you helping? And he's like, because I don't want to die either.
So that's what I'm saying. So he
wouldn't have joined Icarus because he didn't want to die.
But he didn't want to die. But at the same time, if he would have helped the Eternals, then the planet would have blown up and he would have died.
No. If he would have beaten Icarus, then the planet wouldn't have. But if he would have joined Icarus, then the planet would have blown up.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You see what I'm saying?
I had it backwards.
Yeah, so then that would have been interesting to me because then they could have maybe changed how they viewed that Gilgamesh gets another round, But I think the problem was they didn't know what to do with the deviant, so then they just resorted him back to being the predator.
And being killed off in a really basic way.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the fact that the deviants went from being these mindless dinosaur monsters to once he absorbed Ajax and Gilgamesh, he kind of developed a personality, kind of like Ultron in the Age of Ultron?
I thought that was cool. I really cool.
Liked that, actually.
He seemed to be a pretty interesting character, and that's why I liked him, but I just felt his use in the film was pretty much like, oh, they were just there to fight the Eternals.
They were there to be something bad to look at for the Eternals to fight.
I didn't like how the Deviants looked. I thought they were weird, like alien, because they were just like, it was almost like ribbons all tied together, like in different rainbow colors to like form random evil creatures. But it was almost like there were the muscles. So like if you know anatomy, it's like the muscles without the skin, and then each muscle like tendon was painted a different color. It was okay, but they just, I don't know. They're healing.
They didn't look bad though. That's the thing. Like they were like gray was like their main color, and like they didn't look evil. Like, yeah, they looked like bad guys, but like they could have made them like, imagine if all of them would have been like blood red and black or something like that, like just dark and evil colors, like what you'd think of. Imagine if it was like that color combo or something, like make them look like a spawn of hell or something. That would have been way cooler, because then you would have been like, oh, that's a bad guy, like we need to kill him. But right now they just kind of look like gray, and then there's like some yellow,
there's like some rainbow pink in them too.
Yeah,
and I was like, huh,
are they for kids to color on or something?
Well, maybe that's like to suit the director's idea of like, oh, these are just like an alien, but they're not actually bad. They're just, it's not their fault.
Yeah,
they were just put on the planet. There was a celestial that messed up. So it was kind of interesting, but Icarus ends up flying. He ends up killing himself essentially by flying into the sun,
which I thought was really stupid
at the end. Yeah,
that
he joins them and stopping them. And
did you enjoy my ending that I voiced to you yesterday? I don't know if you remember. So I said my ending for Icarus would have been, when he gets to the top of Tiamat, and Circe's sitting there using her power to freeze him. Instead of like Icarus threatening to like use his laser vision, stopping and then going and stopping because he's having that internal conflict because he loves her, which, okay, I'm fine with that. Would you have rather have seen it, like I said, where he walks towards her and he's like telling her not to do it, and then she like stands up and pretty much like goes in for a hug or gives him a kiss, but then she pretty much kills him, or something like she kills him instead of having that Icarus just decide, oh yeah, I'm a good guy again. Like, would you rather have seen Icarus get killed by Circe instead of him just killing himself and flying into the sun to fulfill some childhood book or whatever, the nursery rhyme or whatever?
I don't know, because the problem is, like, with Icarus, the whole thing about him is the conflict, right? Because he lied to them and all that. So in the end, he joins them because he loves her so much that he doesn't want to kill her. So instead, he would rather just help her, satisfy her wanting to stay alive with the humans and stop the Celestial from exploding out. And then he, instead of like dealing with the guilt, he deals with it by committing suicide. I think that makes sense to me rather than her killing him, because I don't know if she could kill him.
Well, because she can change organic matter now, like she did with the Deviant and with Tiamat.
But I don't think she would, because she still loves him.
Well,
and I think unfortunately, like, I don't know. I think to me the best ending was the ending, even though it was kind of like silly. He just kind of joins, but it makes sense because he still loves her and he doesn't want to he doesn't want to hurt her and kill her. So
I gotcha.
That made sense to me.
The only other way I would have ended it is don't have the Deviant die when he does. Have the Deviant fight Icarus, like have Icarus up there, like, and about to like use his laser vision. Have the Deviant come up and fight Icarus, and then have it be like, Icarus is still trying to figure out, he wants to kill the Deviant, but he also wants to stop Circe, so what does he do? Have that conflict, but he can't kill Circe because he loves her. What if he had to kill himself and the Deviant? Because the Deviant was about to kill Circe, and he has that internal struggle, but he wants to protect her more than satisfy Celestial. So Icarus essentially has to kind of like a Superman in the end of Batman vs. Superman with Doomsday, how he sacrificed himself to kill Doomsday. He dies, but so does the bad guy. Like, I would have rather seen that, honestly. Now I think about it, that would have been my ideal ending. Have Icarus take out the Deviant and himself, fly them both into the sun, but don't make it be to kill himself. Just make it be to, hey, I can't get rid of this monster. He's too powerful.
Yeah.
Take him out and me, so that way my love of my life can live, and also this planet that I've grown fond of
sacrificing
can live.
himself.
Like a sacrifice. It's cliche. It's very cliche, but I would have rather have seen that than just for that's what got me.
It satisfies his arc, because he loves her so, and they couldn't have stopped it without him because he is the most powerful. So they needed him to. I know. I know it's how the ending already went was cliche, but it's just that's what got me. I was just there was so many other endings I would have rather have seen, because Icarus was a great character, and I don't know. To me, it just felt like it cheapened his character. Okay. I don't know. Again, like you said, the nursery rhyme, it's the man who flew too close to the sun. I was just and here we go. His death was already foreshadowed. Yeah,
and I was
so mad in this.
Yeah, I was just come on, man. I would have rather seen something else. So I was just.
But then at the end too, with the guy, the Celestial, he just kind of showed up, right? And then he was like, "All right, Judgment Day." Because I guess they're making a second one.
Yep.
Where he comes back and he judges the Eternals. Because he doesn't fight the Eternals or anything. But he's like, well, you chose not to let the Celestial be born. I'm going to review your memories and decide for myself if that was a good choice or not.
Yeah. And so he's kind of reviewing the data, which I kind of like that.
That dude is really logical, and he's he's
the judge. Think about it. He's the final judgment.
Which is kind of interesting because he has the power as the ultimate Celestial to murder all these people. But he's fair.
He could just grab the planet and just squish it like a tomato if he wanted, but
he's fair, and that's why I kind of liked the film, because it was just very different from something that we've seen.
It was just the reason I'm saying what I am. I'm not saying it's great versus terrible. It's just like I said, it was just something really good happens, but then to me it just gets cheapened, and then something else good happens, then it gets cheapened. Like, you see Gilgamesh's character development, and you see him, like, you could tell he loves Athena to death and would do anything, would put himself on the line to defend her, and it's great. But then they cheapen it with the whole Hulk and Black Widow trope, which has already been done. So I'm just like, oh, big muscly guy versus lady, except it's just flipped. Instead of it Black Widow fixing him, it's him fixing her. So that's why I was kind of like, come on. But
Fair
then, like,
enough.
Icarus, same thing with that. I mean,
Was that your lens flare? The hand?
that's a tough one because it's either that. I don't know. That's a good thing. I didn't even. I didn't really nail down a full lens flare. Did you have one?
Lens flare. No. I mean, there was a little moment, like when they were at the Tenochtitlan battle between, like, the white Spaniards versus the Aztec people, with the guns
at the pyramid and stuff.
Yeah, where they kind of leaned into the a little bit like like hating white people.
Yeah.
Which was a little bit, I felt it was a little bit preachy, but at the same token, like, hey, it's a very diverse movie. Where literally every ethnicity was acknowledged,
Literally
like
every single one.
They had this movie was so representation down. So I get it.
And it wasn't a bad thing by any means.
No.
They did a very good job.
It was so
honestly.
great. It wasn't preachy at all. And that's like the only scene where it felt a little bit, but at the same token, it's being historically accurate.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that. And so that's why I don't think, to me, this had a lens flare. To me, too much. Just because I really enjoyed the representation, and they just did a really good job where it wasn't like super tropey, at least for me.
Yeah, no,
and the only red shirt I had was the dude getting eaten.
At the beginning,
father.
There was no reason why it had to happen. Icarus could have gotten there sooner.
Another son without his father.
Yep. Marvel loves to kill dads or moms. They love to leave the child without missing at least one parent. They can't have that happen.
Darn you!
Lo and behold,
damn you!
That child became Star Fox.
Yeah. Let's talk about the ending.
Hang on, real quick.
Sure.
So I thought of it. So for a lens flare, I'll give it a dual lens flare, but they're minuscule. They're not a full on. I'll give it like small lens flares. It was Icarus flying into the sun, and then the Gilgamesh with the sun's getting low thing.
Okay.
Both of those I will say is lens flare, but they weren't like Black Widow's fortress falling out of the sky. It wasn't like a bad one. It was just kind of one of those, like, to me, it was just like it just cheapens those characters and just kind of hurt. In my eyes, it hurts the finale of their arcs. Like, their arcs were building very good, and then it just kind of falls off the table with those. Yeah. So that's what I'll say. But back to what you were saying, the end credits. What'd you think?
Oh, like
Blade?
Yeah.
What do you think,
Because they had two. They had the the Starfucks guy coming on with the troll, which was cool. I didn't know, like, I don't know the comics, so I didn't know who that guy was.
I'll look it up. You keep going.
And then I didn't, and then Blade at the end, because, so there's this boyfriend of Circe, this British dude, and he's like there at the beginning, a little bit in the middle, and then at the end. And so he's totally cool with, like, her being a crazy robot thing. And so at the end, he's like, well, I lied to you, too, about my family. It's complicated. And he opens this, like, case, and there's a sword with some schmutz on it. And then you hear Blade's voice behind him. He's like, are you ready? Or are you certain you want to bring out that sword? Or something.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a teaser for Blade coming back. Now, I've never seen Blade. I've never watched him. I'm not a huge Wesley Snipes fan because I think he's a bad actor. But I'm kind of excited to see Marvel bring Blade out,
Yeah.
So I'm pumped. I thought the end credits were kind of cool. I'm pumped to see where it goes, Like, How about you?
Did you, I forget, you said you haven't seen the OG Blades with Wesley
Never.
Snipes? Oh,
Never
dude, you
seen
gotta
them.
watch them.
I've only heard about the third one.
So, the first two are great.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I've seen the third one.
I know Ryan Reynolds is in the third one, and Patton Oswalt. And Patton Oswalt was like, Wesley Snipe was like high as balls the whole time and hated the director. So he only communicated with him through Post-it notes that signed
That's
Blade.
amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen the third one. If I did, I probably only saw it once. But the first two were great. You need to watch them.
Okay.
A little backstory on who Star Fox is, real quick. Just a little synopsis. It says he was born on Titan and was the son of Mentor. He's also Thanos' brother. Eros serves as the superhero Star Fox. He is opposed by his mad brother Thanos, much like the rest of the universe. He has the power to psychologically control other people's emotions. He is also a member of the Avengers and the Dark Guardians.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
His abilities are super strength, agility, durability, and longevity, flight, and psychic control over others' emotions.
Well, that'll be cool.
He has just made his first appearance in Eternals and is portrayed by Harry Styles of One Direction. That's
Harry Styles, One Direction.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was him. I saw that out there. I go, wait, who? I was like, who is Harry Styles in this? I look up the picture. I go, oh my gosh, I didn't even notice him.
I can't
because
believe
he has
it.
long hair and that his hair was all slicked back and stuff. Yeah. I mean, I thought so. I think Star Fox will be a great addition. Know nothing about him outside of what I read there. I'm interested because I feel like they could make him. They could do a very Shazam-esque.
Yeah.
Where they could make him like a funny guy,
That's
but
what he felt
like a great, like one of the strongest heroes, but he could be funny, which I hope so. Because if anyone listening to this in the future has never seen Shazam, highly recommend. That is Kyle's recommendation of like superhero movies. Shazam is one of the best DC movies ever made.
Okay.
Like, if I had to put a top 5 of like standalones, if you haven't seen Shazam, you need to. It's so great for what it is. You know, a 16-year-old getting the power of all of the gods, essentially.
Sure.
And what he does with it, or a 15-year-old. And even when he's in his superhero form, he still has the mind of like a 15 or 16-year-old.
Yeah,
but he's this big buff dude.
I've heard
and
about
it's
it.
so
Yeah.
it's so good. You need to see it. But overall, I think it could be a great addition. Blade, I'm excited for. I like the originals. I hope they do it justice because man, it's so good. I'm excited for you to watch those. I really am because you'll like them.
I'll check them out because I love anything like vampire.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very good. I think you'll like it.
What would you rate this? What would you rate Eternals?
If we're using your force-fed sci-fi scale, that's a tough one. After seeing it once, I mean, it is one of those I might see again because I always feel from most movies, not counting Captain Marvel, Thor, Dark World, or Black Widow, but you have to see them more than once to like fully grasp and appreciate it. So from first viewings, I will probably see it again at some point. I would put it between would watch and would not watch. I'd put it in the middle ground, like, because I haven't decided yet if I would watch it again. I don't know. I'll give it a would watch because I'm gonna go see it. I will see it again at some point to make a final judgment.
Sure.
And then it could catapult it to would not watch, or could I go all the way up to I'd probably own that someday. So I'm not sure. I'll give it a would watch. What about you? What are your thoughts?
It took 2 viewings for me to really appreciate it.
See, that's what I'm saying. You have 2, so
I don't think it's perfect film at all. I think there's some like parts, like the deviants were kind of so with their motivations. I felt like the sex scene, and I felt some parts of the film kind of dragged or were just like annoying. But I do think it was a really good film, well-rounded. Like, it was safe, but it was great representation, great story, great concept that was really abstract. And, it was like very different from, I don't know any of the actors really. So to me, that was kind of nice seeing like a bunch of randos as opposed to a bunch of like famous people that I've heard of. And though I could be wrong, I heard like these guys are on TV shows or something. I don't know, but I watch TV. So overall, I really enjoyed it. I would put this as like a would own. I would rate this. It's not a viewing party, but I would say for a Marvel film. I was pleasantly surprised at how decent it was. Not perfect. Circe was kind of so. But I did think a lot of it was pretty well done. So that was my take. I think Chloé did a great job as a female director, and there was some redeeming qualities of the movie. I can give it that. That's why I'm like in between, because it's like from one viewing, you might make some rash judgments. That's why I had to watch Dune twice on our last podcast, and we talked about that. But I'll probably want to see Eternals again at some point just to fully have a full judgment on it, because
I don't know, because you might miss some stuff in one viewing. There might be some stuff you didn't hear, some dialogue missed. So that's why I say would watch. I'll give it that.
That's good. Best. Would watch is not bad, know, and whatever.
It's the best I could do right now. All right.
Well, this has been fun, man. This has been a great rendition of Rocking It Out.
Yep. It's what a way to wrap up our 4-part series.
Yes.
Wow. Yep.
Well, I appreciate you, man, for coming out here. Well, for taking part, for me coming out here, taking part in the podcast.
Thanks.
Yeah. We'll definitely do this again sometime. I swear I haven't been drinking. And yeah, so thank you so much. If you guys, thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And if y'all, as always, if y'all enjoyed this, please like, subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Go to www.forcefitsci-fi.com and like, share, subscribe, read our show notes, and everything else. And send us an email for next shows you want us to review. Appreciate you. We'll get back to our scheduled shows. And yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, not a problem. Until next time.
Till next time. See you guys.
Later.